This is Juana Barraza. In 2008, she was sentenced to 759 years in prison. Once you hear her crimes, you'll despise her, because what she did was pure savagery. But when you hear about her childhood, you might fall silent, because that was a tragedy on its own. Behind the wrestling mask, people saw a hero, or so they thought. Because as the number of serial murders rose in Mexico, no one noticed the dark past hidden behind this silent, invisible woman. Was she a victim, a monster, or both? By the end of this story, you will decide. If you're into strange but true life stories, don't forget to subscribe to Deep File, because this is just the beginning. Let's begin with the tragedy behind this story. Juana Barraza was born in 1957 in the Mexican state of Hidalgo. From the very beginning, life offered her no kindness. She never met her father. Her mother was an alcoholic, violent, and often not even home. One day, when Juana was just a child, her mother sold her to a man in exchange for 3 bottles of beer. She lived with that man for 4 years, enduring countless rapes. When she finally escaped that hell, she was still a child, but now, carrying a child of her own. She gave birth very young. Over time, she had several children, each from a different man, because every relationship either ended in abandonment or abuse. She never went to school, barely learned how to read and write. She worked for years as a cleaner, sold fruit at the market, and collected recyclables from trash. But no matter what she did, she could never escape poverty. She tried to take care of her kids, while still carrying deep resentment toward her mother, the same woman who sold her, beat her, humiliated her. She just wanted to do what her own mother never did, be a good mother. Juana was doing everything she could to support her family, but cleaning and recycling just didn't pay enough. One day, she decided to enter the world of wrestling. In Mexico, lucha libre, a form of theatrical wrestling, was wildly popular. The mask she wore and the name she used in the ring made her feel like someone else. La Dama del Silencio, the Lady of Silence. Her costume was pink and black. She was strong, fast, but most importantly, she was cheered. The crowd loved her, because in the ring, Juana looked like a champion fighting evil, a hero of the people. But in real life, she remained silent. And inside that silence, something was darkening, because that mask wasn't just for performance. It was the beginning of something much darker. Around the same time, a chilling pattern began emerging across Mexico. In different cities, on different dates, elderly women were being found murdered, no real clues. The killings seemed methodical, but there were no clear links. Police tried everything: fingerprints, witnesses, criminal records, but they kept coming up empty. One theory claimed it was a serial thief. Another said it was a rogue nurse. Some even believed it was an organized crime group. But no theory hit the mark, because no one considered this one thing. What if the killer was a woman? At the time, police turned their attention to one of Mexico's most marginalized groups, trans individuals. Anyone seen with a mask, makeup, or anything unusual was taken in for questioning. For months, dozens were detained. The media pointed fingers, but none of them had anything to do with the crimes. The police were wasting time and destroying innocent lives. All the while, the real killer was moving in silence, until one day, she was finally seen. In January 2006, in Mexico City, another elderly woman was found murdered. But this time, there was a witness. As the killer was leaving the building, a neighbor saw her. The witness called the police immediately. Just a few meters down the street, someone holding a stethoscope was stopped. They looked calm, but the ID in their bag belonged to someone else. They were taken to the station, and there, the police finally realized who they had: Juana Barraza, the former wrestler, known to the public as the Lady of Silence. Her arrest marked the end of a years-long investigation, but one question haunted everyone's mind: why? Experts believe Juana's past trauma, especially the hatred toward her mother, manifested as deep, uncontrollable rage toward elderly women. She approached her victims as if she were there to help, like a caregiver, gained their trust, and then attacked. She often used strangulation, with a phone cord, a sock, or even her bare hands. Afterwards, she'd take a few small items from the home and vanish into silence. Juana never fully confessed to the murders, except for one. She admitted to killing Ana María de los Reyes Alfaro. When asked why, she said, "She reminded me of my mother." The court found her guilty of at least 16 murders, but some sources estimate the number could be over 40. In 2008, she was sentenced to 759 years in prison, one of the longest sentences in Mexican history. However, under Mexican law, there's a chance she could be released in 2058 at the age of 100. After her arrest, Juana was sent to Santa Marta Acatitla prison. Even there, she wasn't just another inmate. In 2015, she married 74-year-old inmate Miguel Angel through letters, but the marriage only lasted a few hundred minutes. They divorced in 2016. Her daily life behind bars? Surprisingly normal. She works out in the prison gym, some say she acts like a trainer, and during school hours, she's known for selling prison tacos. In interviews, she's said she sleeps well and feels content with her life. Once a wrestler, cheered by the crowd, now a serial killer, remembered as La Mataviejitas, the little old lady killer. But in the end, the deepest question remains: was she a cold-blooded monster, or just another product of a broken society?